All right. Good morning, guys. So, in our last session, we have discussed about IAM. So, I hope you got some chance to practice. And if you have any questions, we'll discuss now.
Avinash, like I have a question. Like I asked the same question on Friday. Without listing the user, how people can like give and permission.
See, listing is a basic permission. Without listing, we cannot.
So if we give an list user permission, then the end user can have an access. Like he can see how many users are there in our AWS, and
See, first of all, end user need access on S3. Least user privileges means so you need to give only S3 permission. So you don't need to give any other additional permissions as he's going to work only on S3. So that is example for least privileges. For example, one database team is there. They need full permission on RDS and just read only permission on S3. So give RDS full access. Along with that, see, he need access on RDS as well as S3. But does he really require full permission on both the services? No. He
no.
required full access on RDS and read only access on S3. So if you gave S3 full access, RDS full access, yes, he can do that job, but that's not a best practice. If you need S3 read only, okay. To perform his job, okay, provide S3 read only access only. So that mechanism we call it the least privileges mechanism.
Yeah, but to give an MFA access, he need to have an list user access. Without that,
No,
how
why he need list user option for MFA? For MFA, no, it doesn't require list user access.
without listing user, how we can give them an permission?
Come on, I shown that policy also. I hope you missed that. See, this is a policy. See here, I'm giving some permissions on resources. Just observe, am I giving any list user permission here?
No.
No. So when I associate this to any of the IAM user, see what is a task actually? So I'm not asking a dedicated user to enable. If I associate this to this EC2 user, when he logged in, he should create MFA and he should enable MFA himself. So why he need to list all other user? He need his only
So
properties, right?
yeah, how
So
to like how the end user will give an MFA access to himself? I think that step is missing.
okay. So once he logged in, for example, now Avinash underscore T user is there. He's an IAM user.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to activate MFA, he need to go to my security credentials here. Then enable multi-factor authentication.
Got it. Like I was doing in the other way around. I was going to user and then I'm listing a user, and from there I'm going to this MFA page.
No, no. If you read that question clearly, I mentioned he himself need to activate MFA.
Mhm. Got it, Avinash. Sorry, I missed that step. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys?
Avinash, Ashok here. Regarding the task 2,
Yeah.
I just have start a question like, see, already we have an admin access and also we are giving the power access. So automatically power access will be overridden with admin access, right?
Okay. So I'm asking you to test with different permissions. So that means now I'm not asking you to combine that. So, but for your question, the answer is yes. So that power user access is going to overridden with the administrator. Power user means administrator minus IAM.
Yes, right.
Obviously, administrator is going to take effect.
Okay.
Avinash, in one of the lectures, right, you were talking about Resync Mfa. So, what that problem is regarding?
See, you have MFA device, you haven't uninstalled, or like some due to some technical issues. So whatever the code it is generating, so it is not working. So in that case, what you can do, you can just resync it. So whatever the two consecutive pin numbers you are getting, you need to give the two consecutive. And whenever you click on resync, so automatically your mobile application is going to be resynchronized whenever it have any sync issues.
Okay, so in case the code that we are entering, right, is not working, then Resync could solve that problem, right? That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So
Sir,
yes.
regarding task 2, we need to check only using policy simulator, right, sir?
Yes. The main intention for that is I want you to get familiar with that policy simulator. That's only reason there.
Thank you, sir.
And first rule in IT, no sir. Call me Avinash. Okay. So when coming to yes.
Avinash, when we activate MFA, that activation for the IAM user, that should be also in the root user for like the global setting when I am creating.
I didn't get that question.
So when I'm activating that MFA for the IAM user,
Okay.
like for that root user, that should be activated like
You don't
means
need
before.
to activate by using root user. If you create your own policy called MFA, if you are able to, if you completed the task 1, so then you can associate that policy to any of the IAM user and he can activate MFA himself. So if you don't want to go with that mechanism, yes, what you can do, okay, whoever have IAM full access or administrator access on AWS account, that user can enable and disable for all other IAM users.
Avinash, actually, I have another doubt. Like when we create an IAM user, right? So when we give auto-generated password, the auto-generated password will be created. So once if we close the tab, can we able to see the password again or not?
Can we? We
Like
can't. We can't. We can't see that, but you have an option that you can reset. If you forgot to store that password, you can reset that password and you can share the new updated password.
okay, Avinash.
Yeah. Right. So here we're going to start with the S3. So S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. We are going to discuss mainly storage classes today. See, we have different type of storages, guys. So when coming to S3, it's a object-based storage. See, it's just like AWS version of Google Drive, AWS version of Dropbox, OneDrive, iCloud. Okay, so it is not designed to run any application. It is not designed to run your operating system. Simultaneously, multiple users cannot edit the files. We don't have such type of option here. For that type of storages, we have like, block-based storage. For block-based storage, we have a service called EBS, Elastic Block Storage, or Instant Store. Instant Store, that's nothing but block-based storage. This is designed to run operating system, or you can create a volume, you can associate to multiple instances, and you can run clusters, application, or cluster mechanism. These all we are going to perform only by using block-based storage. Okay. Along with that, you are looking for network-based storage. When coming to network-based storage, that is, you are going to have a storage device somewhere else in the network, and you can associate to your servers. So, storage over the network. Okay, so this one is an example for NAS, network attached storage, SAN, storage over the network. So for this mechanism, we have EFS, elastic file system, FSX. Okay, so these are the file system. So storage available over the network. So you can mount it to thousands of the instances, 10,000s of the EC2 instances also, servers. Okay, for that purpose we have this. So don't get confused between why can't we use S3 to why can't we use S3 to run an application and all. Technically it is an object based storage. Object based storage means we can store only flat files. We can store only flat files. Flat file means PDF, Word document, Excel, PowerPoint, .exe, .msi. Take any file. If it is even a shortcut also, we can go and we can store here in this S3 platform. But one thing, so you are storing .exe file. Can you install the .exe file here in this S3 itself? No. You can copy to one of the server. Yes, there you can install. Why? Because server is going to contain block-based storage. So you can store any file format. So can you view and can multiple users edit that file? No. If you want to edit whatever the file you have in S3, you need to download into your local machine. You can edit and you can re-upload. So if you want to maintain, you can enable versioning concept, like, for every single edit, we are going to get a new version of the object. So we have versioning concept. But one important thing, whatever the data you are going to store here in S3 platform, we cannot edit that, we cannot install any application, or we cannot run operating systems within this. If you want to mount it to server, yes, you can mount it to a server. We can mount it to a server. From server you can access all the data from S3 and all. You can copy, you can synchronize, you can perform a lot of options. But this is designed to store only flat files. I hope that part is clear. Now, when coming to S3, S3 is a global resource, just like IAM. So, whenever you navigate to that S3 platform, you can see all the region buckets. So S3 doesn't require any region selection. It doesn't require any region selection. But while creating a bucket, we need to choose the region. While creating bucket, we need to choose the region. Why? So data physically stores in that region. Okay, so we store all the data in S3 buckets. We will have buckets in S3 platform. So bucket is nothing but is a folder with unique namespace. So you can treat it as a folder or directory, but with unique namespace. That means whatever the name you're giving for your bucket, that should be unique across the globe. So technically this statement means bucket name should be unique across the globe. Right? So whatever the bucket you are giving, so we have some bucket naming standard. So we have a bucket naming standard. So whenever you are creating a bucket, it should follow this naming standard. Then only it allow you to create a bucket. Otherwise, it won't allow. So minimum characters is 3 characters, and maximum character is 63 characters lengthwise. No capital letters, No, it should not start with special characters. It should not start with special character. Mainly, one more thing, should not start with the dot. Your bucket name should not start with the dot. Should not end with the dot. And no adjacent double dots. So no adjacent double dots. See, within this special character, dot is exceptional actually. So that means you are giving a bucket name Avinash. If you are trying to create a bucket with dot Avinash, it won't allow you to create. Avinash dot, again it won't allow you to. But if you want to avi dot nash, yes, it accepts. If you want to give avi dot na dot n dot a dot sh, it accepts. So you can give dot, but if you're trying to give two adjacent double dots, AVA dot NASH, it won't accept. So it should not start with dot, it should not end with dot, no double dots for your bucket name. And it should not resemble IP address format. Why? Because we have a feature. We have a feature that, like, static website hosting. For that feature, for that particular feature, so if you want to, you should not have, like, bucket name with IP address. Should not resemble IP format. Like 192.168 and all, you cannot create a you cannot create a bucket like 192.168.0.1 or 0.2 in such type of format. You cannot give. It won't allow. Okay, so these are some naming standard you must follow. You can give all small letters, you can give dot, you can give hyphen, that also accepts. Like so, but one thing, you should not start with dot, should not end with dot, no adjacent double dots. So let's navigate to S3 platform. Let's create a bucket first. So one thing, I'm working as an Avinash underscore T user. Throughout this course, I'm going to use the same user. And if you observe, this user have full access, administrator access on my AWS account. Here is a user, Avinash underscore T, and this user have administrator access. Just in line, I hope created. So here, no permission boundary and administrator access. Okay, so now one thing I want you to, I want you guys to perform this. See, by defaultly, IAM user won't get billing access. So the first task for today is create an IAM user, provide or associate administrator access, provide administrator access. Now login as IAM user, login and try to access billing information. By defaultly, it won't allow. By defaultly, it won't allow. See, whenever you go here, whenever you select this My Billing Dashboard, so here you will get access denied error. But see, in my case, I am not getting any access denied error. So how I enable this? So login and try to access, it will deny. Now provide billing access to IAM users. So instead of provide, you can treat it as enable. So even if you Google how to enable billing access to an IAM user, you can find n number of the articles. I want you to spend some time and you need to log in as a root user and enable one single option. Then if you associate administrator access, by defaultly, he will get billing access. See, for this user, I have just given administrator access, no additional permissions, nothing. And I am able to. In your case also, if you give administrator access, if you are trying to access, it won't. So you need to enable one option under your account setting. That how to do that is your first task for today. Okay. So I'm going to use the same user throughout our course. He is the user I'm going to use throughout our course. I'm not going to create any other user. I mean root user particularly. I'm not going to use root user. So here under storage, you can find S3. So scalable storage in the cloud. So select that S3. I already have some buckets, guys. I'll tell you why. So basically, bucket names are unique. For example, this Avinash bucket is there. If I delete this bucket, if someone might create bucket with the same name, so I cannot create this bucket anymore. Even if I contact AWS also, they won't allow me to. They will simply tell, okay, some user already taken that bucket, so we can't. Even whenever you are trying to delete a bucket name, see, it tells you deleting bucket cannot be undone. So there is no concept like a recycle bin. Bucket names are unique. If you delete a bucket, another AWS user can use the name. So if you delete, so instead of delete, what I did, I have, instead of delete, what I did, I have like empty and I'll keep that buckets. So here I have a bucket. So I have some links I shared from this bucket. I'll create a new bucket now. Right. So click on create a bucket. What is a bucket name you want to give? So I want to create a bucket name with the Avinash1. So in what region you want to create this? See, this S3 platform doesn't require any region, but physically where data is going to store in backend technically, in what availability zones, in what data center this data is going to store. So if I select Mumbai, all the data is going to store in Mumbai region. So I'm creating it in Mumbai region. So if you want to copy all the settings from an existing bucket, you can go here and you can pick all the settings come from that bucket, but leave it. So leave all the option to blank. We have total 4 sessions on this S3 platform. We are going to discuss each and every option. 4 more, total 5 sessions on S3. Okay. So don't worry about these options at the moment. I'll explain when time comes. So click on create bucket. See what is saying? Bucket name with the same name already exists. So someone already taken that bucket name. So it's not allowing me to create. So Avinash 9, scroll down, create bucket, and that bucket name is available and it got created successfully. So here is a bucket. Just give a quick refresh. See here is a bucket. When it got created on March 1st, 2021, this bucket got created. So now I'm within that particular bucket. Whenever you click on that, bucket, so you will land into that S3 bucket. So now I'm in Avinash 9 bucket. So what I can do, see here it is showing objects. So within the bucket, we are going to upload the objects. Do we have any objects here? No, 0 objects here. I don't have any object. Now I want to upload an object here. To upload an object, we have multiple ways. One, that you can drag and drop. You can click on upload. You can drag and drop here. Otherwise, you can add files or you can add folder. Go here. What file you want to? Okay, I want to upload cloudcc.jpg file. Click on open. I want to add another file. Click on add file. So I'm going to upload elb.png. Click on open. So 2 files got uploaded here. So now if you want to add entire folder also, you can do that, or else you can simply drag and drop that file also. Say I want to upload this vpc.txt. You can navigate here, drag and drop. So 3 files. Now scroll down. Here we have an option called upload. Click on that. So now it is trying to upload all the 3 objects. And here you can find the status, upload succeeded. All the 3 files succeeded. 3 files got succeeded. No files got failed to this particular bucket. Now click on exit. You will land into that particular bucket. So here we are in the bucket. So within this bucket, if you want to create a folder for easy organization purpose, if you want to create a folder, click on create a folder. So you can get folder 1, then scroll down, click on create folder. So one folder got created. If you want to upload something within that folder, go inside that folder and add objects here. Okay. So even we can create folders also. Here is the objects first thing. Now I want to access that objects. If you want to access an object, for example, I want to open this vpc.txt. Now we have two things. One is as what user you want to. See, as a Avinash user, as a owner, or as a guy who have permissions on my AWS environment, I want to access this vpc.txt. So we can select it. Actions. The first option is open. Click on open. See, I'm able to see that files. So if you want to open any other file, elb.png, navigate to actions, click on open. See, this is a elastic load balancer file. And here we're able to see that. Now, can this object accessible for all the another AWS account user or public users? Basically, whenever you upload any objects to S3 platform, you will get a URL. So this is S3 URI. So within AWS environment, from one server, you want to access, you can use this. This is a unique identification name we got across the globe. And this is the object URL. This is a publicly accessible URL. See, a couple of days back, I shared our course content. I shared demo.txt, iam.txt files. I made those objects publicly accessible. Then I have given this URL. But for this bucket, I haven't done that. So if you're trying to open this, it tells you access denied. And even if you go to this Amazon S3 platform, if you observe this access, see, here is the access button. So Avinash 9 bucket and objects not public. So only whoever have valid permissions on AWS platform, they can access all the data. No other users can access it. Okay, now I want to share this cc.jpg. I want to share this object. So select that object, go to object actions. So here, when you scroll down to the bottom, we have an option called make public. If you select this option, so then this URL is going to work. Okay, but we have a setting at bucket level. Let's see. Before enabling it, it's showing access denied. So object actions, make public, and when public read access is enabled and not blocked by public access, anyone in the world can access these specified objects. Okay, let's see. Click on make public, and is it success? Failed. See, failed to edit public access. So the reason is public access is blocked because block public access settings are turned on this for this bucket. So we do have a setting at bucket level that is going to block all the public access. If you want to make any object public within this bucket, first of all, you need to enable that option. Okay, so to share object with anyone, public access settings, first thing, to make any object public, we need to turn off a feature called block public access at bucket level. So for that, navigate to permissions. We have an option block public access. So at moment it is on. It is not allowing us to make any data public. Why? Because block all public access is on. So first of all, you need to disable this. It is on, make it off. Okay, so that's what I mentioned. We need to turn off block public access at bucket level to make any data public. So click on edit, uncheck this, scroll down, save changes. So to change these changes, we need to write confirm. See, updating the block public access for this bucket will affect this bucket and all objects within this. This may result in some objects becoming public. See, enabling this feature is not sufficient, guys. See, I turned off this feature. Is this object public? No, still it is showing access denied only. So after turning this feature off, whatever the objects you want to make public, if you want to make entire bucket public, select all, go to action, scroll down to the bottom, make public. Yes, scroll down and make public. Everything will become as a public. If you want to pick only particular objects, for example, I want to make this cc.jpg, vpc.txt, okay, or cc.jpeg and elb.png. Only these two objects I want to make public. Then go to actions. After picking those two, scroll down to the bottom, make public. So these two objects make public. It is success now. So if we go here, if we give a refresh, immediately I'm able to get this page. Not only here, I'm going to share this with you guys. I'm going to paste it in our chat box. When you click on this link, immediately you're going to get this object. Whenever you click on this link, you will get this object. See, you log into AWS account or not, doesn't matter. Only thing is you have the URL or not, first thing. Second thing is you have internet or not. If you have internet with a valid web browser, you will get this. Why? I have made this object publicly accessible for anyone who have this. Similarly, sharing an object with the link in Gmail, Google Drive, whoever have that link, they can just log in. They can just download that object and all. They don't need to log in and all. So this is a publicly accessible object. Okay. So can we access this vpc.txt? Let's try. See, it is showing accidental. Why? Because I didn't made it as a publicly accessible. I have did for only two objects. That is cc.jpeg, elb. So go here, pick the URL. This is an object. We got it. So these are the two objects I made public. This one I didn't. So that is how we made objects public. So it depends on our requirement. Most of the times our organization is going to have sensitive information. We don't share this data publicly accessible, but we do have a feature we are discussing now. Got it? So that is make public. After that, choose the objects you want to make public. Choose the objects you want to make public. So then we have a button called make public. So then all the data will be shared via URL. So whenever you are sharing this data, we have a URL syntax. So multiple URLs are there. If you don't have dot in the bucket name, we can use virtual path. If you have dot in the bucket name, we have a standard URL. So let me show you. We have virtual path also. Both works for us. It depends on the bucket name. If you observe this particular object, see, this is a syntax for this. HTTPS is a protocol it is using. Bucket name dot s3 dot then region code dot amazonaws.com / object name. So this is one example for accessing the object, and we do have another one that if you have dot in the bucket name, for example avi dot nas9, so in this case this virtual path is not going to work. In that case we are going to have different path, that we are going to get a bucket name here, then object name. So https / s3 dot region code dot amazonaws.com / bucket name / object name. Why? So it just because of DNS limitations. So if you pick any other bucket, let me pick any other bucket that contain dot in the bucket name. For example, avinash.tk. See, if I open this particular bucket, if I pick any of the objects within this bucket, see, if you observe s3 dot region dot amazonaws.com then bucket name, then object name. See, this is also a public accessible URL only. But if you observe, see, these two are the URLs from different bucket. This one don't have dot in the bucket name, so we are good to go with the virtual path. Otherwise, you can just go with this. So both works for us. You no need to worry about that. Based on the bucket, you can just pick and no one is going to ask you this, why and how. Okay, but we have a backend mechanism that is standard URL. See, this works for all the buckets. If you don't want to follow this, you want to give like the same bucket name here, and if you want to, yes, of course you can give it. But this virtual path, it works whenever you don't have dot in the bucket name. Virtual path works when we don't have dot in the bucket name. Okay, so now we are talking about this, like, S3 platform. So uploading objects and all. So this is a platform where you can upload anything, and you can start accessing all this data and all. Okay, so now how much data we can upload to this S3 platform? How much data? We can upload unlimited data. First thing, no pre-provisioning is required. That means while creating a bucket, is it asking, okay, do you want to store like 1 GB data or 2 GB data and all? Is it asking anything? No. It is allowing to create a bucket, and it is like, giving permission to upload any amount of the data. So we have unlimited storage available here. We have unlimited storage in S3 platform. First thing, no pre-provisioning is required. That means no need to choose like, okay, I want to 30 GB and all. If you're taking another service, I'll just show you example for this. If you're taking like a service like EBS and all. So here I need a volume. When I'm creating a volume, it will ask me, okay, you want 50 GB or 100 GB. It is asking me, okay, if I select 100 GB, only 100 GB storage I'm going to get. If I select 1 GB, only 1 GB storage I'm going to get. But in S3 platform, is it asking like this? No. So that's what no pre-provisioning means. We can have unlimited data in S3 platform. And of course, we will get under pay-as-you-go mechanism. First thing. Now, when coming to this object, we have a limitation. See, I am uploading this vpc.txt file. How big file I can upload to S3 platform? How big file I can upload to S3 platform? So the maximum size of the object is 5 terabytes, 5 TB file we can upload to S3 platform. So one single object, see, one single object size, this vpc.txt size, it can support up to 5 TB. In the same bucket, elb.png size approximately 4 TB. Yes, this bucket size is going to be 9 TB now. So another object is there, cc.jpg. That object size is 5 TB. So this entire bucket size is going to be 14 TB. But if you have a one single object that size more than 5 TB, of course we are not going to have that. Our OS operating system itself won't support. So it won't, like, this S3 platform won't support that. So maximum object size, one object size. See here, I'm not talking about S3 platform. We have unlimited storage. So maximum object size is 5 terabytes. So 5 tips TB. Okay. So technically TIB will write it as GB. Technically we are going to write it as a GIB. Okay. So the maximum size is, it supports 5 TB. Minimum 0 bytes. How small that file is doesn't matter. You can upload it. How small that file is doesn't matter. We can upload that object to S3 platform. So I hope this part is clear. Okay, so now we are going to discuss storage classes of the S3 platform. But before that, any questions so far for me, guys?
Avinash, small question.
Yes.
So we should have like a uniqueness at the bucket level. So
Yes.
when there is a bucket named as Avinash created by you, I should not create. But
Yes.
what about the sub levels, subfolders? So can I create something like a parent directory as something, and inside the directory can I create Avinash?
Yes, you can. For example, if you take folder 1, n number of users might take in that. For example, one common name is test. So yes, so the uniqueness is coming with the bucket name, not with the folder names.
Okay.
So this gives a uniqueness.
Okay. One more question, Sophie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, I think I missed. I will
Sure.
recollect and I will ping you once.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Hi, this is question.
Yes, please.
May I?
Yeah. Please, I.
Yeah, can. Yeah, actually, you have said we can create subfolder, right?
Yeah.
What about the size of subfolders? Can it exceed beyond 5 TB? Why? Because
see, folder
the files in the folder
won't have. So the object, see, the folder also by default will give unlimited storage only. But within that folder, what you are going to choose object only. So you can upload n number of the objects here. So
okay,
the
fine.
limit is for only object.
So here folder is not considered as an object, right?
Folder is not considered an object. Folder considered as a prefix, suffix to that object.
Okay.
Folder name considered as a prefix to that object. So what happened if I upload something to this folder? So if you are trying to access, you are going to get that as a prefix. See, now I uploaded that object to this. If you pick this object, only one thing got changed. We got a folder here, folder 1. Within that we have an object. So it treated that as a prefix. So prefix don't have any limitations, size limitations, and also that absolutely fine. We can upload n number of the objects and unlimited storage for the folder also, at folder level also.
Okay, fine. Thanks, Avinash. In that case, so in order to give the privilege, right? Once we give the privilege to subfolder, then again I need to go to
forget about
individual.
privileges now. Why? Because I
Okay.
didn't come to the topic yet. I'll talk about that later on.
Okay, then. Okay, thanks.
Yes.
So
Yes,
Avinash, when we create the S3, you ask me to select the region, but what about the AZ?
See, that AZ, it depends on the storage class. We cannot choose AZ here, but our data is going to spread across how many availability zones that we can select. So that's what our next topic is. I'm going to talk about this, right? So that answers your question.
Perfect. And when you say the empty bucket, to make sure we have the name available, does it cost by any chance?
That also I'm going to talk in free tier limitation. So if you are using standard, it is not going to cost us anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Avinash, typically, let's say there's a web app. What kind of files are we storing in S3? Like just to visualize, like where is S3?
Yes. So for example, you have YouTube. So whenever you open YouTube, so these all files got opened. See, these are the basically thumbnails, not the images, not the video. Entire video is not loading. When I click on that, then only the video is going to load and all. So such type of thumbnails you can get from S3 and you can load it here. If it is a static data, then we can use a platform and we can. So this thumbnail got loaded. When I click on this, then the file is going to stream. The file is going to copy it from this S3 platform. It comes to my web server. Then it is going to deliver from my web server.
Okay.
So
web server.
Yes, static data, such type of static data we can store in this S3 platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we have 100 files in S3, cannot we make all them as a singly as a public entire folder
Yes, select
entire
this
bucket?
Yes, this top option is there, right? Click on that.
Ah.
Go to actions, make public. You can do that. Okay, when a folder is a public, uploading new object file to public. Okay, so no. So it's an object level. So you must select that public. For example, you made this folder as a public. Within that, if you upload a new object, so that new object setting also need to be modified. And trust me, we don't make any data public. That is a feature on S3. So sometimes if you want to share something and all, you will use that. But entire data, no organization. Data is like, new currency for organizations, right? So they won't.
Okay, if we host a static website, then we need to make all the files as public, right?
Static website, did we discuss that feature?
Okay.
Not yet, right? So please don't raise that question. When I talk about that, yeah, you can raise that question. So S3 is a global resource. It doesn't lies within the VPC. No, it doesn't require any VPC selection, Ravi. So it's run out of that VPC only. So forget about VPC. We'll talk that later. Why? Because we don't know what is VPC at the moment.
Yeah,
Alright,
Avinash,
so-
can I ask some question on cloud front? If you want
Okay,
to put
no,
something on.
no, not now, not now.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's start with the S3 storage classes. We have storage classes in S3 platform. I'll give high level overview. If time permits, we will discuss that today in detail, otherwise tomorrow. So basically we have S3 storage classes. So mainly based on access pattern, we have storage classes. See, if you are taking like a Google Drive, so first of all, you need to choose the plan. Okay, we need to go with the 100 GB plan, 200 GB plan, and all such type of plans we need to select. That's the first thing. Second thing is we have like a different type of data. Some data, 20 GB data, accessing daily. Another 20 GB data accessing infrequently. So not frequently or accessing. So daily, I'm going to call this as a frequently accessed data. Infrequently accessed data. 10 GB is not important data. So another 10 GB you are not accessing. You might require yearly once or yearly twice. So that mechanism we call it as the archive. So some data is there, 10 more GB. Don't know the access pattern. You don't know the access pattern. So how you are going to access what the client is going to access and all, you don't know that. See here, if you observe total 70 GB only used. But by end of the month, you need to pay 100 GB. First thing. Second thing, when coming to S3 platform, no pre-provisioning is required. So for every access pattern, you can pick a storage class. Whatever the data you're accessing on daily basis or frequently, choose S3 standard. S3 standard is designed to store frequently accessed data. So you have some data that you are accessing infrequently, like weekly once or monthly once, like weekly twice or thrice. But whenever you need the data, you need it immediately. If you just double click on that, you should get the data immediately. So such type of data, so you can store under standard infrequently access or one zone infrequently access. Standard infrequently or one zone infrequently. Okay, so the design mechanism is, okay, if you have some data, you have like less frequently, put it here. What is the advantage? It is going to cost you less. So you might get a doubt, it is costing less, right? So here also data available, you can just double click and you can access. Here also data available, double click and access. So I can simply put here and I can access all the data, right? If you're storing data in infrequently access, if you're accessing frequently, end of the month, the cost is going to be same as this. How many times you're accessing, that will be calculated in this scenario. So if you're accessing less, you're going to get charged less. Okay, so that's a mechanism. And you have some data that is not important. So you can store under RRS, reduced redundancy storage. So we have archive data. So you want to store for longer duration, like a 5 years, 10 years, or 15 years. So, but you are not going to require data immediately. So annually once you are going to access, and you know when that date comes. So in that case, you can store under Glacier or Glacier Deep Archive. So whenever you are storing under Glacier and Glacier Deep Archive, first thing, the data won't available immediately, just like these two. See, within these two, data will be available immediately. If you just double click and open, see, I want to open this iam.txt. I can go here and I can open it. So now the data, this means data is available immediately. When coming to this Glacier, we cannot simply go and we cannot open like this. So then what we need to do? Data won't be available immediately. We need to initialize data restoration. Whenever we initialize data restoration, then only you can access that object. Okay, so that is a limitation we have here. So another one, this is intelligent tiering. S3 intelligent tier. So you have some data, you really don't know how you are going to access and all. So in that case, you can go with the S3 intelligent tiering. It is advanced one. Amazon itself is going to give like, okay, this is data. We really don't know how and when we are going to access and all such type of storage, we can choose this. So you no need to go with the fixed storage types or access types. So based on your access pattern, you need to configure this. But 90% of the times we use S3 standard, but some organizations uses different storage classes. This is a high level comparison. Now let's go and discuss about this individually. So when coming to S3 standard, S3 standard, basically it is designed to store frequently accessed data. So by defaultly, whenever you upload anything, your data will come to this. Okay, so we have like a SLAs also for this. So basically for every object class we have availability and durability. So designed to store frequently accessed data. That is the first thing. Data availability and durability values are there. Data availability means we even have SLA, service level agreements for that. So first thing, data availability, 99.99% data will be available. Whenever you are just clicking on that, you will get the data. Durability, chances to lose the data, 99.99. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 99.99, total 11 nines, guys. So that means if you are storing 100 million files over a year within S3 platform by using S3 standard, you might miss one single object due to some AWS technical error. You might lose one object out of 100 million files. So chances to lose an object is 0.000000001%. That is a durability. And for this SLA, service level agreements, 99.9% is a SLA. Of course, no one is going to ask you this. If you want, I can write down this. So I'm writing down, so don't worry about this. Service level agreements from AWS is a 99.99%. And in how many availability zones data spread across? Data spread across. It is going to spread across greater than or equal to 3 availability zones. If you are selecting S3 standard, again, if you go and if you ask me to show you, see technically, you are going to have 3 copies of your data in backend. If you are selecting S3 standard, see, I upload an object called, so this cc.jpg, right? The storage class is S3 standard. Technically, Amazon is maintaining 3 copies of this object. 3 copies of this object. But if you ask me to show you, if you ask me to show that, I cannot. But Based on the storage class, Amazon will give you, okay, data spread across the 3 availability zone. If one availability zone goes down also, you still have access to your data, and all 2 goes down also, no issues. So data spread across 3 availability zones. This is the use case, availability, durability, SLA, no need to concentrate for like most of the things. It's 99.9% and remaining all 99%. So that is a S3 standard. Now, S3 standard infrequently access is there. S3 standard IA stands for infrequently accessed. You can expect certification question from this topic, guys. So, designed to store infrequently accessed data. Availability is 99.9%. Availability is 99.9%. Durability is 99. Durability is same 99.99%, and data is going to spread across 3 availability zones also here. So what is the real difference between these two? Data availability. Data will be available immediately. Fine, here also data available immediately. But if you have some data that is accessing infrequently, go and choose this infrequently access. That is a mechanism. Okay. So now we have one zone infrequently access. That is S3, one zone IA, infrequently access. So here, this is also designed to store infrequently accessed data. Data will be available immediately, but so less important data. If you have some less important data, go and choose this. Why less important data? Why? Because data spread across only one availability zone. The name only will giving one zone infrequently access. So that's a real difference here. So availability is 99.5%, durability 99.99, total 11 nines, but data spread across only one availability zone. That's why same properties, everything, but if data is less important, go and choose here. And cost also 40% less compared to infrequently access. Compared to this, 40% less. Why? Because Amazon maintaining only one copy only, right? So that is an option, one zone infrequently access. So then we have an option called Glacier Deep Archive, S3 Glacier. When coming to Glacier, see, this is designed to archive the data for longer durations, and the cost is going to be very, very less. The cost it's going to be like, for 1 TB, $1 for 1 month. Why? You are just archiving the data. You are using the platform to store the data and all. When coming to this, data will not be available immediately. Data will not be available immediately. So if you want to get the data, you need to initialize a restoration, then only you can view the data. And when coming to availability, durability, and data spread, so availability is 99.99%, durability is 99.99%, 11.9%, and data is going to spread across greater than or equal to 3 availability zones. I'll show you. So Glacier Deep Archive also same, but one different thing, that is a duration to restore or initialize restoration option. Duration to restore the data. Here it's minutes to hours. Within minutes also you can get the data, within hours also. The maximum duration is hour. That is one thing. And when coming to Glacier Deep Archive, designed to archive the data for longer durations, and data will not be available immediately. But one thing, duration to restore the data, it will take hours. minimum is it will take hours only, like 12 hours, 15 hours it's going to take. In these remaining cases, how much time it is going to take to restore the data? Duration to restore the data, duration to open the file, milliseconds only. But here, instead of millisecond, it's going to take minutes to hours, and here definitely it takes hours. And you know access pattern for all these categories, but we have another category where you have some data. The data is you really don't know what is your access pattern. In that case, we can choose S3 intelligent tiering. We have unknown access patterns. We can go with this. So this is going to cost a bit more compared to other data and all. So availability is 99.9%, durability is 11 nines, and data is going to spread across the 3 availability zones, and duration to get the data is milliseconds. Data will available immediately only. Data will be available immediately only for this one also. Okay, so these are the storage class. Along with this, we have another storage class, that is RRS, reduced redundancy storage. When coming to reduced redundancy storage, so not recommended. AWS itself won't recommend to this. So, but if you have like, easily reproducible data, non-mission critical data, we can go and choose this. The only reason for this is the durability is less. Durability is 99.99% only. So chances to last the object is high. Less durability compared to all remaining storage classes. So it is not recommended to use. And even price also, it's same as a S3 standard. So Amazon itself will tell us don't recommend that, don't use this and all. Initially we use this, but now we are using S3 standard only. So don't ask me why we still have this. That's a choice of AWS, not mine. So if you want to see all the storage classes, see at moment, this is a S3 standard. And whenever we upload any object, S3 standard is a default storage class. So this will be, this is the default storage class when we upload any data to S3 platform. So by using like a mechanism called lifecycle management role, your data can be moved from one storage class to another storage class automatically. That we will discuss later, how we can create that lifecycle management roles and all. And recently we worked on a project. We worked on a project for an MNC hospital. That's a Hyderabad based hospital, and you might hear that name. Like, whenever any patient comes, mainly for COVID patients, the medicine delivery they're doing by using robotic. The sanitization part, like, whenever any patient comes, the hand sanitization and temperature check, they're using by using robotic. They purchase a couple of robots and they're using it. It's a Hyderabad based only hospital. So I should not reveal that name basically. So for them, we designed an application. We worked on project to design and deliver that application. So they have like a digitalized everything. This is a real scenario. You might come up with a question, okay, in what scenario we're going to use this and all, can you give some real-time example? This is a real-time example. Okay. So we designed an application, so everything is digitalized. So we have an in-house patient. His scans, records, medical prescriptions, laboratory records, everything is digitalized. So scan copy, and it is going to be associated with the patient ID. Right? So doctor, as he's an in-house patient, doctor comes to the round from morning to evening, like multiple specialists and all, they will come, right? So every doctor is going to inspect all the records. So in that case, as he's an in-house patient and we are accessing the record from morning to evening, so we have selected storage class as a S3 standard. So data is going to be accessed daily basis. So Till that patient is in hospital, we are going to maintain this S3 standard. Okay. Once he discharged from the hospital, we gave an option. Okay, as you discharge from some critical illness, you can come to the hospital at any time if you face any difficulty. If he is facing difficulty, he can come to hospital immediately without any delays and all. So no prior appointment is required. Okay. So my first question is, he going to visit hospital on daily basis? He might come, he might not come. If he face difficulty, yes, he will come. But when he visit the hospital, you should not ask him to wait for you should not ask him to wait for minutes to hours, or you should not ask him to wait for hours. Data should be available immediately. So we have selected S3 standard infrequently access. He is not going to visit hospital on daily basis, but whenever he visit, data is ready immediately. So we are going to double click and we are going to access this. So in that case, we have selected infrequently access. So same property, but with less important data, then you can go and choose this. And Glacier. So for OP, outpatient or outward patient also, they're digitalizing everything. They're giving a patient ID. So, but if he want to visit that hospital, he need to take a prior appointment 24 hours before. That his records also is digitalized, but he need to take a prior appointment. So before 30, before 24 hours, he need to take a appointment. When appointment is confirmed, then we are going to initialize the restoration. Again, he is not going to visit hospital on daily basis. From morning to evening, no one is accessing his records. He might come, he might not come. But whenever any appointment is scheduled against his ID, the data need to be restored. For that, we are using this. So same thing, if you have enough hours, minimum 12 hours to restore the data, we can go and we can choose this Glacier Deep Archive. So we go with this one only. Why? Because he might come with the difficult things also. So within minutes, we can initialize the restoration. Within 5 minutes, 1 to 5 minutes also we can restore. So 5 minutes is okay. So then we selected this S3 Glacier. So we haven't used this OneZone and Glacier Deep Archive. Why? Because this is going to take hours and this data, availability is less, and our data is going to spread across in only one availability zone. So that's the reason. And this Amazon itself don't allow us, don't recommend to use it. We haven't used that. Intelligent tiering. You have some data, so that you have a question mark. You really don't know when you are going to access and how you are going to access and all. Then you can go and you can choose this intelligent tiering. Okay, based on access pattern and all, we are going to get charged, but data will be available immediately. If you want to access on daily basis from morning to evening, okay, you can, and you're not accessing for coming 1 week or 10 days, okay, that's also fine. So, but data will be available immediately. So these are the storage classes and a real example where we have implemented this 6 months back. So now I'm open to all your questions on the storage classes. Then we can close the session. Okay, data spread across 3 availability zones within the same region. Yes, data spread across within the same region, Ravi Kumar.
Avinash, I have a question. So,
yes,
like an example, so my workflow daily generates some files and store into S3, and once a day I need to pull a file. So in that scenario, which should be the best one?
So you are accessing like a daily one time, so you can go and choose S3 standard.
Okay.
So
Standard.
I even have some questions also.
Sure.
I even have some question like a use cases with this storage classes and all. I'll show you that in our next session. Yeah, in your case, you're accessing on daily basis, right? So every day you're accessing the data. So better to go with the S3 standard.
Okay.
Avinash, are we going to cover S3?
Yes, Avi, please go ahead with your question.
are we going to cover S3 resiliency, restoration, all these?
We are going to. This is just the first session on S3, guys. Don't worry about that. How to move data from one storage class to another storage class, or how to configure replications, how to configure versioning. Those are all things we are going to discuss.
Data will be stored in 3 available zones, right? If you choose a standard class.
Yes.
If due to any natural disaster, if that region got lost, then our data will be also got lost, right?
That never happened. But for your question, if entire Mumbai goes down, for example, like, entire all India data centers gone, or there 3 data centers, yes, then in your, yes, data is going to be, data will not be available.
Okay.
Yeah, Avinash, you had given the example of patient ID, right?
Yes.
So we are not sure whether he will be coming in a day or a weekly basis. So
Yes.
why can't I choose S3 intelligent tire in this case, Avinash?
Intelligent tire, bit more cost compared to this. See,
Okay.
if you know what you required, you can go and choose that. In what scenario we are going to pick this whenever we don't know the access pattern? See, for a patient who have recovered from critical illness, we know he might come in recent times, and also then you can just go and choose intelligent tiring. Standard infrequently access. It's going to cost less. Among all the storage classes, this is a bit costlier one. Why? Because AWS is giving and they're changing the things based on your requirement. As it is changing based on your requirement, it is going to cost a bit more. Of course, we can select, but
Yeah.
when cost wise, it's going to cost a bit more, right? So that is a factor.
Yeah, addition to that, Avinash. For example, I had chosen an intelligent tire and it has moved few folders to Glacier Deep Archive. So
Yeah.
what will be the charge for me? It will be charging like a deep archive, or the intelligent tire charges to me?
Intelligent tire, basically intelligent tire won't change the storage classes. Intelligent tire itself is a storage class based on your access. By end of the month, you are going to get a bill. You have an object, you're not at all used that, you haven't opened that. So for the data, you will get charged based on this. The cost is going to be equal to this. Plus, as Amazon is storing this intelligent tiring, plus additional cost. So you have some data in intelligent tiring, you're accessing on daily basis. So the cost is going to be like, it's going to be increased more than S3 standard. So intelligent tiring itself is a storage class. It won't move data to any other storage classes. Hope I answered your question.
Yeah, got it. So the charge will be like, if I'm not accessing that regularly, or if I not accessing that, I will get a deep archive charge plus intelligent additional charges.
Yes.
Am I right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, one more question, Avinash.
Yes.
So regarding standard S3 standard and S3 standard infrequent access, what is the difference? I can get the data immediately. Then why have to go for S3 standard? I can choose the S3 standard in infrequent access, right?
Okay, so here when coming to, I'll come to your question. When coming to free tier, based on what storage class you're selecting, based on that we are going to get charged. First thing. Second factor, how many operations you are performing. So basically put operations and get operations. How many uploads you're performing, how many downloads you're performing, how many times you're accessing that object. So 2000 put object operations comes under free tier eligibility. 20,000 get operations. So that means 2000 objects you can upload, 20,000 objects you can download. Put operations and get operations. Now, if you see this question, I already answered. Again, I'm repeating. So you might get it out. Okay, S3 standard, you're accessing immediately. In standard infrequently access also, you're accessing immediately. First of all, this is cost is less. Fine. In what case the cost is going to be less? Whenever you are infrequently accessing, the cost is less. So you are accessing more and more times for this infrequently access. So then what happened? End of the month, the cost is going to be same as the S3 standard. Why? As it is a standard infrequently access, Amazon expects only less put and get operations for the storage class. But the put and get operations you are getting huge, so then the cost is going to be same. Why? Because these things also comes under like consideration, right? Pricing consideration. So when coming to free tier eligible, 5 GB standard storage, S3 standard storage. Don't select any other storage classes, guys. Go and practice with only S3 standard. Okay, remaining all we will discuss. So it's a 8:50. So if you have any other questions, definitely we can discuss tomorrow. And Naresh team is going to share Slack channel today. Whoever done the payment and all, so you can join to that Slack channel, and then you can post your questions there also, right? So this text document, let me quickly upload and let me share that URL. Give me a minute. The same URL, but instead of iam.txt, just give s3.txt. So, but however, give me a minute, I'll share that. Okay, so the URL is in our chat box. All right, so just click on that link so you can get it. So here is a link. Whoever not copied and pasted, you can refer to this video. So this is a link. Okay, by using this, you can access this file. All right, so that's it for today's session, guys. See you again tomorrow. And as the first thing, I'm going to take all your questions, right? See you again tomorrow. Thank you. Okay, ask, pay the fee completely is a message from Naresh team. Okay, I hope you got that.